Chapter 14. Active and Passive Voice. Let's learn active and passive voice. All transitive verbs have an active and a passive voice because these verbs require one or more objects. Sentences that have transitive verbs are formed into passives because in the construction of a passive voice, the movement of object is required. Some common transitive verbs followed by a direct object are bring, send, owe, contain, pass, take, tell, verify, check, make, annoy, lay, lend, offer, edit, buy, show, get, wash, finalize. The active voice is used when the subject does an action upon the object. For example, somebody wore my shoes. Rina cut the cake. In the above sentences, the subject somebody and Rina do actions upon the objects, shoes and cake. The passive voice is used when we want to emphasize the action, the verb, and the object, a sentence rather than the subject. Either the subject is less important than the action or the subject is unknown. For example, my shoes were worn by somebody. The cake was cut by Rina. In the above sentences, the objects shoes and cake are emphasized more than the subjects somebody and Rina. Some general rules of the grammar of voice. Monotransitive voice. In simple sentences, the change from active to passive takes place by changing the verb to past participle form and by putting the word by before the doer's name. For example, he sells mangoes. Active. Mangoes are sold by him. Passive. Does he still love me? Active. Am I still loved by him? Passive. Detransitive voice. When the verb in the active voice is detransitive, therefore, with twin objects available, the possibility of the passive voice formation is not just one but of two kinds. For example, the teacher taught the students mathematics. Active. The students are taught mathematics by the teacher. Passive. Mathematics is taught to the students by the teacher. Passive. Personal pronouns often get changed with change of voices. Often personal pronouns get changed when a change of voice takes place in particular sentences. For example, I need some guidance. Active. Some guidance is needed by me. Passive. We brought them up. Active. They were brought up by us. Passive. Long phrase remains unchanged in particular cases. Sometimes the object is a long phrase and it remains intact even when the voice gets changed in the sentence. For example, Nelson commanded a fleet of ships. Active. A fleet of ships was commanded by Nelson. Passive. The interrogative sentences retain their interrogative form when they are changed from active to passive or vice versa. For example, do you obey your parents? Active. Are your parents obeyed by you? Passive. Formation of passives in different tenses. The passive voice is formed with the suitable tense of the verb be plus the past participle form of the main verb. As per grammar rules, following two aspects are very important in the formation of passive voice. The key to the formation of passive voice is the use of past participle form of the verb with an auxiliary verb put before it. For example, you took it yesterday. Active. It has been taken by you yesterday. Passive. Been auxiliary. Taken past participle. By connecting preposition. The verb form in a passive voice sentence takes shape in accordance with the tense being used in it. The following chart shows the formation of sentences in passive voice in all kinds of states, that is, simple, continuous, and perfect forms in all kinds of tenses, past, present, and future. Tense. Simple present formation. Am, is, are plus past participle. Example: A. Active. B. Passive. A. The Japanese make sushi. B. Sushi is made by the Japanese. Present continuous. Am, is, are plus being plus past participle. A. She's embroidering beautiful scarves. B. Beautiful scarves are being embroidered by her. Present perfect. Has, have plus been plus past participle. A. Your company has cheated me. B. I have been cheated by your company. Simple past. Was, were plus past participle. A. The Roys invited the Khannas. B. The Khannas were invited by the Roys. Past continuous. Was, were plus being plus past participle. A. I was washing my car. B. My car was being washed by me. Past perfect. Had plus been plus past participle. A. The company appointed a new manager when I joined. B. A new manager had been appointed when I joined. Simple future. Will be plus past participle. A. He will sell the house next month. B. The house will be sold by him next month. Future perfect. Will plus have been plus past participle. A. We will decorate the stage before the chief guest arrives. B. The stage will have been decorated before the chief guest arrives. Remember, verbs with no object, no one to receive the action, such as arrive, come, die, exist, go, happen, have, live, occur, sleep, etc. do not have a passive form. Formation of passive with modals. The passive voice can also be formed using modals. The modal can and its past form could is most commonly used in the formation of passive sentences. For example, they can eat the apple pie. Active. The apple pie can be eaten by them. Passive. Formation of interrogatives in passive voice. In interrogative sentences, the auxiliary verb in the active voice gets changed in the passive voice. Here are some rules to be kept in mind while forming the interrogative sentences in passive voice. The auxiliary verbs do, does, did in the active voice change to is, are, were in the passive voice. For example, did she congratulate you? Active. Were you congratulated by her? Passive. The auxiliary verbs has, have in the active voice change to have been, followed by the past participle form of the main verb. For example, have they spoken to you? Active. Have you been spoken to by them? Passive. The question words what, which, when in the active voice do not change their positions in the passive voice. For example, which room did they decorate for the party? Active. Which room was decorated for the party by them? Passive. Formation of imperatives in passive voice. Commands, suggestions, and requests are imperative sentences. In imperative sentences, command, the active voice is changed into passive voice by using let plus object plus be plus past participle form of the main verb. For example, carry the bag home. Active. Let the bag be carried home. Passive. In imperative sentences, suggestion, the active voice is changed into passive voice by using subject plus must, should plus be plus past participle form of the main verb. For example, take meals at regular intervals. Active. Meals should be taken at regular intervals. Passive. And imperative sentences request. The active voice is changed into passive voice by replacing please with you are requested. For example, please lend me your book. Active. You are requested to lend me your book. Passive. Verbs that cannot be used in passives. The sentences having intransitive verbs cannot be converted into passive voice. The only reason for this is that such a sentence has no object. When a sentence has no object, it cannot be changed into passive voice. Generally, they are followed by adjectives, adverbs, verb, complements or prepositions. For example, 5 children died of malaria. The car arrived late, so we got late. Some common intransitive verbs that are not followed by a direct object are arrive, continue, come, rise, explode, excel, laugh, respond, sit, run, cough, act, die, cry, swim, go, emigrate, immigrate, smile, lie.